Hello everyone, welcome to our video ministry update for the month of May, where we share with you all that's going on in our lives and our ministry here in the country of Bolivia. You know, when Beth and I started out in the ministry, our desire was always to see men and women prepared and trained to serve the Lord. Our desire was to see men that were trained to be able to pastor churches, that would be able to reach people with the gospel, and then even be able to train their own people to go out and start more churches and reach more people with the gospel. And as part of this plan, we've not only seen pastors that have been trained to pastor the churches that we have started, but we've also been able to have a part in training some of the men that are even pastoring churches that were started by other people. This past month, Beth and I were able to travel to Santa Cruz, Bolivia, to visit with Pastor Juan Lamet, his wife Melania, and their two daughters for their church's anniversary service. For their anniversary, they decided to have a family conference. And so we were able to be there on Saturday night for one service, Sunday morning for another, and then Sunday night for the closing service. And they were able to invite a lot of people from their community, and their desire with this conference was to be able to reach out to new people around the church there. And each service, they had a great turnout, great response with visitors that came to the service. And so we were super excited about that and the contacts that they were able to make. And so we pray that you would ask that you would pray for Pastor Juan and his family. Continue to pray for Pastor Juan's health. He still struggles some with that, still having some complications, but he's trying to continue there, faithfully serving the Lord. So pray for them, pray for their church, that God would continue to bless them. Then the following week, I was able to visit with Pastor Gustavo Leon. Gustavo started coming to our very first church many years ago when he was around 9 years old. And so Gustavo basically grew up in our church from a very young age to a teenager to graduating high school. And from there, he began to take our classes in the Bible college. And he was able to graduate from Bible college in 2022. And he's now pastoring the Landmark Baptist Church here in Cochabamba. And so I was able to go and visit with him on a Sunday and be able to preach for him and be able to just encourage and see all that God's doing there in the church where he is working. And so it's just really exciting, to see how God is working in these men's life, and that we've been able to have even a small part in helping in their preparation, helping in their training, and even continuing to encourage them as they serve the Lord in their churches. And we pray that God would not only bless them, but God would continue to raise up many young men that have a desire to serve him, and that we can have a part in training, and wherever they go and wherever they serve, that they can see many people reached with the gospel. Also, we've mentioned several times in our prayer letters about praying for the economy here in Bolivia. So I thought I might give maybe a few more details on what the situation is. So basically what has happened is a little over a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that, the news started reporting that the reserves of dollars here in Bolivia had basically been depleted. And while in Bolivia, the money that we use is called Bolivianos, obviously any type of imports or any type of international transaction are usually done in dollars. And so the result of this has been basically the exchange rate for dollars has more than doubled for what it was originally before we started having these problems. And so when someone wants to import something or make an international purchase, what happens is they have to take their Bolivianos and they have to change them for dollars. And so now that the change rate is double, basically that gives them half of what they used to give. So they have to take double the amount of Bolivianos and to be able to get the same amount of dollars. And so when they bring that product into the country, of course, the result is that the people are paying close to double for a lot of the products that they have to purchase. And this is everything from just basic things, many things like food that people need, just the basic necessities for life. This has also made things difficult for purchases like airline tickets from airlines that fly into Bolivia. And then also because the government imports the petroleum and they have no dollars really to purchase petroleum, then that has also caused a gas shortage. And so that has resulted in sometimes waiting as much as an hour to an hour and a half to anywhere up to 4 or 5 hours in line, in a gas line, just to be able to get gas for our cars, for our vehicles. And so in other places here in Bolivia, I know one pastor had to go the night before, sleep in his car, spend the night in line, wake up the next morning, and around midday the next morning, he was able to get gasoline. So there's a tremendous need and a tremendous situation here that's affecting many people. It affects the churches, it affects the pastors also the income of the pastors and things like that, where they have to spend so much more money. So we'd ask that you would pray for Bolivia, pray for this economic situation, and as we mentioned many times, pray for the elections that are coming up in August. And we're praying that God maybe will do something to have a change in government. So hopefully things will be a little bit different. Things will improve, especially in the situation with the economy. And then also we wanted to give one more heads up to everyone about our upcoming furlough. That will be starting here very shortly, just a few weeks from now in June. And we'll be there from June of this year till June of next year. We've already scheduled quite a few meetings throughout the end of this year and already starting to schedule a few meetings for the first part of next year. So if you'd like for us, first of all, we want to say we're so thankful for just your faithfulness and your prayers and your support to allow us to do the ministry here. We're so very thankful and grateful for that. And it's a privilege for us to be able to serve the Lord, representing you here in the country of Bolivia. And also, if you would like for us to come and visit the church while we're back there, we would love to do that. Just contact us. You can contact me by email at ktwbmw73@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 336-499-2585. Feel free to contact us, and we'll go ahead and try to get something put on the calendar so that we can make sure we can come back and share with the church what the Lord's been doing here in the country of Bolivia. So a few prayer requests. Pray for this last month as we try to encourage the churches and prepare everything for the churches and the pastors so that everything will be ready and hopefully, Lord willing, continue to work smoothly while we're going on furlough. Also continue to pray, as we mentioned, for the pastors and the churches with the situation with the financial difficulties, the economy. Also pray for our government in the upcoming elections. Pray that not only the Lord's will be done in the elections, but also that there will not be tons of conflict and strikes, which usually happens during things like that. And then also, as we mentioned before, continue to pray for our paperwork that we're doing on the various churches' lands here. The Lord is still working. We're still advancing. We've had a few roadblocks, of course, as usual, but we're praying that God will continue to work in that so we can get those things taken care of as soon as possible. And the churches will be there established as an autonomous church with their own land, being able to reach out into that area. And so, once again, we just want to say thank you so much for all that you do for us in the ministry here in Bolivia, because without you, we could not do what we do. So thank you so much, and Lord bless.